Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of City Skylines with me, CityZilla. And in today's episode, we're going to be working on our university as well as establishing an oil field. We are in a place where we could really use some extra cash. We ended up spending all that money on the airport, and so we really haven't been able to repad our account. I did end up finishing this area in between recordings. I was initially going to record it, but then I decided it was such a small area I could just show you guys. And so I put in a couple little restaurant areas right here with some planters and just really light landscaping, some tables, some areas where, like, if somebody wanted to overlook this, they could enjoy the view. And you can kind of see the water in the back over there, though now the buildings are kind of covering it. I did some tennis courts on either side that I thought just looked really good. And so I really like how it turned out. And then I think just to cap it off, I kind of forgot until just now, I want to come in here and just do some of these light little flower bushes in here. And I'm going to be grabbing some more of these guys too. I really need to go back in and get some of my my flowers. So we'll just do this, and it just helps to clean up the walking paths. Makes it a little bit nicer. I think this area turned out really well. I kind of wish that I had maybe separated the buildings a little bit more, but I like the vibe. Honestly, it really reminds me of Miami. Miami is super similar to this. You have a ton of landscaping like this with palm trees, and then there's walking paths and stuff in between the buildings, and it's just really cool. And so now we are going to jump over here, and so we have a couple of issues. First off, I want to establish the oil field, but then we need to reach our attractiveness goal of 1800. We are 725 away, and so it's quite a bit. But then I did want to incorporate, the reason why we're doing the oil field right here is because the oil field is so large, but we're kind of treating this as a tech university, so kind of like an MIT, but Crater Lake. And one of the things I remember from MIT is that there was a ton of factories and stuff nearby. Like, they have a really big power plant, and I think it's because they are engineering students, and it would be really beneficial to have those type of facilities nearby. And so we are going to be drawing from some of the high-tech content creator pack buildings as well. We're going to kind of be placing them down and having a little bit of fun. And then I want to expand with a really large oil field. This is really a good opportunity for us to start making some good money. And then we'll probably put in a little train cargo and everything. And so the first thing that I want to do is draw out our oil field so that we can start upgrading this guy. And so we're going to use the picker mod, and I'm going to grab this little 6-lane road. And then what I'm thinking is I'm going to extend these 3 roads out and then probably do a tunnel. All right, and there we go. Nothing too intense. Just wanted to basically lay down our starting grid network for this area. Mostly just our arterials, but so now what I want to do is jump into our industrial roads. And one of the biggest challenges with these industry areas is traffic, and so I want to try to be mindful of that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come down here, we're going to go out probably about like right there, come up to, and then go all the way across. And the reason why we're going to do this is because industrial areas have a ton of traffic, and so it is really beneficial to I think we're going to make that just a little bit shorter. I don't want to have those too close together. It's really beneficial to try to create a grid network that is going to benefit the area. You still want people to be able to get around, but also kind of help out traffic so that it doesn't get just like super crazy. So we'll go like that, and we'll come back, and then the goal is we will come up here, and then we're going to just do one little connector road across. And the reason is because it's just going to help provide that access, kind of break up the routes a little bit. So now if somebody's over here, they can get over here, and just different routes. That is my motto. And so now that we have that guy, let's go ahead and drop in our oil building. And I had already painted out the oil industry. I would like to have fit it right there, but it does look like that's a little tight. That's all right, though. I'm going to upgrade these roads so that they are on the ground. Oh, we don't need that road. Right there. And I think that's it. And so one of the things with oil, I do play with the unlimited oil and ore, just because the oil for some reason is extremely unrealistic in its in the rate that it gets depleted. And so I used to not play with it, but it is really a challenge, and it almost makes not playing with the industry is not as enjoyable because of how quickly it disappears. it literally, like within, I don't know, like a couple hours, your oil field gets sucked dry, and it's just really unrealistic. And so we have our small oil pumps, and then we are going to place down a couple of these oil sludge pyrolysis plants, and these are for the petroleum. And I want to put these guys, maybe we'll go like right there, right there, right there, and then we'll come down here and do the same thing. You want to be kind of mindful placing these too close to intersections, because trucks do end up blocking traffic as they turn around. So like this guy right here, it would probably be better if we placed it back there. But even then, a lot of times it would be better if we just place these on the backside. But we're going to kind of see. One of the hopes that I have for this is that we'll be able to kind of troubleshoot some of the issues that we have. All right, so now what we need to do is place down some of these small crude oil tank farms. And these are good if you place kind of scattered around. These are really what kind of generate just a ton of traffic for your area. So I think we're going to start off with 2. And so what happens is a truck gets dispatched from the small oil pump. It then gets sent to this guy or straight to this guy. But then once it leaves this guy, it gets sent out to a warehouse, or it gets exported through your train cargo or your plane cargo, whatever you have within your city. And so you do want to start placing down warehouses pretty much right away. And I think we're going to turn this little section across the street into a warehouse district. And so we will probably just use those same nodes, since this is not going to really be a super crazy volume area. And then we will just go ahead and place 2 of these guys. I think we're going to move that one just in a little bit. Yeah, we'll go like that. And so one of the things I want to do as well is place down some fences. So I'm going to go into our new fancy schmancy airport fence, because I just absolutely love the look of this guy. It's so funny. It's definitely like almost like an electric fence. It has barbed wire. It's really tall. It's a superficial. It is definitely a fence that you would see around buildings that are trying to be protected. And it's now the only fence that's really like that. And so another thing that I want to do, we are going to draw fences around these guys. And basically what these are for is just to block out animals hitting them, or cars too. Maybe somebody drove off the road or anything crazy like that. It would just be to protect the pump. And I think we're going to move this guy. It's not super smart to have those right on the intersection. I could see the writing on the wall with that one. That was not great. It's kind of funny when I'm trying to design out an oil area. I was trying to look at inspiration, but oil fields are mostly barren. They're literally just fields, and these little guys you actually will see spread out all throughout cities. In California, it's super common to just have these pretty much everywhere. You even see them in residential areas sometimes. It's kind of weird. But it's pretty much anywhere that there's oil, they'll plop one of those guys down sometimes. And then if there's a lot of oil, that's when they get into their really big oil rigs and stuff like that, or even those offshore guys. But I think that's good, and I hooked up water already, and so we should start pumping in some oil here soon. So it looks like 32 barrels. It says we're importing everything. It's just because we just hooked that up with electricity. And so while we got this guy out too, I want to place down one of our waste transfer facilities over here. I think even placing it on this guy would probably be good. So I think we will extend this guy out, then we'll connect it up, and we'll get rid of this connection so that we don't have that four-way interchange anyways. It helps out a little bit. But then we can come up here, go like that, and just create a little off-road for it, a little space. And there we go. Nothing too crazy, but now it's got its own little zone, and so the workers can be have their space. Yeah, there we go. It's only got 3 parking spaces, so I guess not a lot of people actually work there. And so no need to really detail. It's really just comes down to these little guys. I could come down and do some of the specialized industry in here with oil, which we might do. It depends on our industry demand. But I think for right now, this is good. We just want this to upgrade. And so my idea for this guy, now that we have the beginnings of our oil field, we have a ton of attractiveness to make up for. And so it's actually kind of a challenge. I have been playing around with this for a little while, trying to come up with a good idea. Because initially I just wanted to place down a bunch of random buildings. But I wanted to try to keep the aesthetic. I think the university looks really cool right now, and so I think if we kind of go crazy with it, we might lose some of that appeal. And there we go. I'm going to turn off anarchy so our trees don't end up everywhere. And I think I'm actually going to remove our trees in here. We really don't need these guys in here. Yeah, there you go. And then I think we will delete this guy too. We really don't need those there. And so what I'm thinking is we will extend our university over here, but we're going to create another little plateau because we're kind of on a mountain. It is kind of an issue. And there we go. That's what I was thinking. Nothing too crazy, but enough for us to place some dormitories and stuff. And so I do want to come into our little slope terrain tool though and slope down a little entryway for some paths. And there you go. And then I think I'm just going to level out this terrain as well. It looks a little bumpy. I didn't even look at it before. And then I'm going to probably get rid of the rocks too. There's literally rocks everywhere. And there we go. So I leveled it out, got rid of that huge pile of rocks that we had. And so what I'm thinking is we're going to jump in here, and I want to go into a nice 4-unit road. And so we will choose this guy with trees, and we're just going to go straight with this, and we're not going to go too far in. Probably, actually, you know what? We might go all the way, because we're definitely going to need some space. I just don't know if we're going to need all of it, but I want to do some parking lots, and then I have a really fun idea to probably incorporate the radar tower, because I think it just looks really good in this area. I think it fits in really well with the tech buildings and everything. And so we're going to go like that, and then we're going to come into our emergency services tab and go to the deep space radar and go like right there. And you know what? I just think that looks so cool. It's super official and it looks like it belongs. And there we go. I think that looks really good. It looks official, and it's gonna blend in really well with the high-tech buildings. So then we are going to go to the unique buildings tab, go to content creator packs, and then dive into these high-tech buildings content creator pack collection. And so I want to do the Research Institute. I believe it's, yeah, this guy. And so we're going to place this guy right there. And then it does look like we need to adjust our slope just a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Just so that we can fit this guy back here. I kind of want this to be facing the other direction. I think we're going to flip it. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, so this is the front. Yeah, there we go. And I think this building just looks really cool. It especially with this entrance, and it kind of has this huge research and development and then some parking. But I do want to come in here and actually put down just a small parking lot. And I'm going to use the little square guys that I just recently picked up. So we're going to do the 40-meter parking lot. We're going to go like right here. Yeah, there we go. It looks like we already got some parking. I do want to just mess with this slope a little bit though to make sure that we can get a path in there. Yeah, there we go. I was able to squeeze one in without it being a little too bumpy or anything back there. I'm just going to shift these up so that we can get them a little closer to that road though, just so that we don't get that little concrete tear. Yeah, there you go. It just looks a little cleaner instead of having that weird kind of mixture in there. It also provides some really good access to that front road up there, so that people can kind of cut through, and then we're going to be connecting it up with this guy. And so I'm going to redraw on this road since I didn't after. And there we go. I ended up turning it a little bit so that we could be parallel with this road. I felt like it was just going to be a little weird if we weren't. And then we did end up hitting our next unlock for the oil industry. So I do want to jump back over here real quick and look at what we unlocked. So we are going to jump in this guy. And I think, so we got the crude oil storage cavern, which now has 400,000 capacity versus the 300,000 for the small crude oil tanks. But then we got this petrochemical plant as well, and then also the small oil drilling rig. And this is really what we want to start placing over here. So we're going to go like that, go like that, go like that. And then we'll probably do the same up here. And you know what? That is going to give us some really good coverage. And so for the petrochemical plants, I think we will go in the middle here. I think this is going to be great. Yeah, you know what? That already, I think that's going to be fantastic. And then I do want to, it doesn't, well, it's because we got them. Let's actually move these guys over here because we don't want them to be over oil. Yeah, it would be better if we put these over here. Just because we could expand more oil drilling operations there, and it would just be a little bit better. I do want to put one of the storage facilities right here, though, so we're probably going to do a cavern right there and then a cavern right there. I think that's fantastic. I really like how these look. It's like underground storage. And then I'm just going to draw the little fences around these guys again. And there we go. Nothing too intense. Again, just protecting against animals, but it helps to make it, clean it up a little bit. And then we should have a pretty decent little oil operation pumping now. Let's go ahead and check it out. So we are making okay money. It does look like the plastics haven't really kicked in yet. It says we're losing money at this moment, so it may still be a little while because I think we have these on balance too. So we want these to be on empty because we really want them to continuously fill up those trucks. And then let's go ahead and look. Oh, you know what? We didn't set these guys up either. So we need to set up petroleum and then plastics, and we want these to be on empty as well. These are really just for storage at the moment. Once we start diving into factories, then we will raise these probably back up to balance because we'll want to keep the resources in the city. And so now what I'm thinking for this guy is we are going to place down some dormitories. Go like this, go like this, go like this, and then copy it on this side. Go like that, go like that. You know what? I think we'll only do 2. And then I'm just going to extend this guy out. So we want to go all the way out here, and then we want to go all the way up there. And we'll go like that too. I think that's going to be good. And so what I'm thinking is we will put another one of these outdoor study areas in the middle. That's kind of why I didn't want to. So if we go like that. Yeah, you know what? I think that is perfect. And then let's go ahead and put a couple more dormitories on the opposite side of it. So we'll go like that, go like that, and then I want to place another cafeteria on this end. And I think this is going to be fantastic. Yeah, look at that. And then I want to jump in here, and we're going to draw in a path in between these guys. We'll go like that. And then let's go ahead and connect up these paths. And of course they're not straight, but it's not the end of the world. It actually kind of looks good with it curving in like that. And so this is kind of what I was thinking with it. And so now we'll go ahead and draw in one of these guys. And then we will connect up this guy as well, because we really want to provide that access over here. I think I'm just going to extend this a little bit further. I want it to touch that path. And so going back to our high-tech buildings, I want to do probably the software facility. And then let's see if we can place in, I think it was it the robotics? No. We could probably squeeze in the robotics institute, but looks like that one's too big too. Maybe we're just going to do the software. Yeah, I think that looks good. It is kind of riding up on that hill a little bit, but it's not bad. And then it is still close enough to, man, I don't really like that. I think we're going to shift this over just a little bit. Yeah, look at that. That's much better. Yeah, there we go. Just because I really don't want to mess up our little path there. That would be so important. And then we can put in some little bushes and stuff, but they have access to that. And then I want to grab this guy. We'll go straight. Yeah, you know what? I think that looks fantastic. And there we go. And so I do want to possibly connect up this path back here. I don't know if we're going to have enough space, but let's go ahead and see if we can. Go like that. It's kind of funny. We haven't really utilized these paths at all, so it kind of doesn't really fit in very well with our current motif, but I think it looks good, and it actually does provide a couple little benches. And then what we were trying to do is just connect this up, which is really what we're going for here. I think if we upgrade this guy too, it's going to help us to get a little bit better of an angle. Yeah, there you go. And then we can go in here and just upgrade that just a little bit. Yeah, look at that. Perfect. And then now there's nice little benches for the area. I think this is, yeah, the park path. And so we got this going right there. We got that. Let's go ahead and place down a couple little fountains. And then what I was thinking over here is to place 2 more buildings as well. I think if we put a fountain back here, it's going to work out really well. So we'll do the trade school fountain. I want to do the more business looking one. I think it is that guy. Yeah, it is. So we'll go right there. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, you know, it actually looks good. And then we'll probably just leave that as a green space back there. And let's go ahead and look at how close we are to that 1800. So we're actually pretty close. We're still 400 away, but it is just around the corner. And so down here, what I want to do is place the auditorium and then I think the gymnasium. So we're going to do auditorium and I think the gymnasium is up here as well. Yeah, so we'll place this guy down here as well. And the reason why we're doing these two is because they're kind of far apart. Like if somebody was just going to this school and they never really went to that side of the campus, it would be nice to just have the same amenities. And then I think we will add in a path. Maybe we'll go up like right here and then do a similar little bridge guy to what we did on the opposite side. I think that would be really good. Yeah, look at that. I like that. That looks really good. I actually really like the park paths. I think they're fantastic. It's kind of funny. The reason why we did concrete in here is because we were going for a more modern look rather than a bunch of the park path areas, but you do end up losing a lot of the seating and everything. And so having the park paths are actually really nice. I think we're just going to shift these guys over just a little bit so that we can get them a little more in the middle. Not by much, but I think that's good. And so I think we're still a little ways away from our unlock. All right, so now what I'm thinking is we will add in some dorms and another little outdoor study area for up here. I think it's going to be a really good spot for it. And so I want to jump into a 2-unit road, probably this one with trees. And then we will go like this. You know, I turn on snapping, just come out like right there, come in, and then just come down. And then we want to make sure that it's somewhat level. This is kind of uneven terrain, so it may not be perfect, but we would still want it to be kind of close. And you know what? I would actually prefer it to be at the same height as the other one. So Control H, and we're going to go like that. And then we will jump into our dorms. We'll go like this, and we're going to try to squeeze it all the way on the end, probably on both sides. And then what we're going to do is jump into the academic statue. And you know what? The big fountain might... No, I want to be able to put a path back there. So I think if we go like this, well, it'll be good. And so this would be like a nice area for people to kind of sit down and relax. It does look like it's a little raised up. So I'm going to Control H it right there. And that looks a little better. I think I'm going to smoothen these little curves out though. Yeah, there we go. I think these are up on a hill. So maybe if we grab these guys and then just hit the edge nodes, because of the uneven terrain, we're just going to have to deal with it up here. Because the school is spending so much money on this, though, I would imagine that they would probably grade out a pretty sizable section of it. I don't think we're going to grade out the whole thing, though. We'll probably just end up smoothing a lot of it. And then I do want to create that edge, though. So maybe we'll go like that. You know, that's not the end of the world. It's kind of funny. It's a little uneven, but it's not terrible. And we'll kind of come back to here and fix this a little more. First off, though, I want to come into our path and then draw this guy around. So we're going to go like that. We're going to come up to the back side, and then we're going to go like this. And this is just going to provide a little access to that viewing point back there. And I think we're going to upgrade this back guy to the park path because it has those benches and lighting. And I think this would really be the selling point for this area. I used to really enjoy going to like Outlook. And so I do want to go to the slope tool and then lower this guy, right click right there, and then create a slope right there because I want this path to connect. So I want to go like that, and then I want to go like that. Is that too intense? No, that's actually really good. And so now we have provided access from the dorms all the way down to our research center or our software. And then let's go in here, and I think we're going to do another one of these guys. I think this is going to be a great spot for it. And then let's put a couple more dorms around the outside. I think we'll just do one more on either side, just because it allows us a little bit of room to do some more decorations. And so let's look at how close we are to getting that now. So we're at 1745. So it looks like we only need a little bit more. So maybe we could put in another cafeteria up here. I think that would be good. So maybe if we bring this guy back, go like right there. Let's see if we can squeeze in a cafeteria right here. That would just be amazing if we could go like that. And you know what? I think that looks pretty good, but we could actually probably turn it around. So let's put in a path, and then we could make the cafeteria part of this park area, which would just be amazing. So we're going to grab this guy and we're going to turn this guy around. And I think it's so funny. You can snap them to park paths, but they always put the parking right there. So you would have to probably allow cars or maybe just little golf carts to come up onto the space. And so now I want to jump in here. We're going to go to the standard tree that is used within these parks because I really want to try and capture that same motif here. So we're going to go like this and just kind of scatter it around. I don't particularly like how these trees look, but I think it is going to be good for this area. And I think this is a good location for another path. There you go. You know, that actually looks really good. And so I think we're going to jump into our new bushes here and we're going to go over this guy. We're going to drop our spacing down to 2. And then we are just going to draw up. Yeah, that was a little too big. I think that might be a little more than what I was hoping for. Just going to use these bushes to kind of accentuate these open areas right here. The bushes help to kind of cover up the lines a little bit and just make it look a little cleaner. It's really crazy how just a couple bushes can really change the look of an entire area. I don't particularly like those little bends, but because of the path, I don't want to mess with it too much. And look at that. You can already see just where these bush lines are, and they really help to just clean up the area so much. It really is crazy how much they do to make an area look better. So if you're ever just kind of wondering what you can do with detailing, just place down some bushes, just follow the path, you know, and just let it kind of go. And sometimes you get a little crazy with it, but it still ends up looking good, you know, and that's really what it's about, is just kind of going with whatever you think is right in the moment. We're going to follow this down. I really like that look. We did kind of block the view, though. I don't know if people would be happy about that, but I think that looks good. And then we will come back into this guy and do a couple more of these guys like that. Bam, bam. Yeah, that is just magical. I think maybe we'll do some of those tall grasses. I really like these tall grasses. I think they just look so good. And you can really do so much with them. Like you can come in here. I think we're going to do some smaller rocks. That looks a little too big. But yeah, it's like rocks in the grass and just, you know, it creates a really nice space. I think we'll end up using those same trees. Yes, we'll go. It's actually kind of small. They look good. We'll come in here and then let's go ahead and put some foliage around this backside too. The space kind of looks a little empty. Just cleans it up, especially for people driving by, like maybe people who are thinking about going to the university or who just maybe live in the area. They'll be able to see this really nice space and kind of be welcomed by it a little bit, like, oh, maybe I should go to the university. I always, I don't know, I always was really kind of marveled by universities. I thought they were just so cool. Even in my travels, it's one of the things that I really like to enjoy, like visiting. Because every university is just so different. Everywhere just has their own little vibe and appeal, and it just looks so cool. I think that looks good. I do want to put a fence around this guy. I think this would be definitely a controlled access point. So we'll come in here, we'll go back to our now favorite airport fence. I really like that they added this to the game. And I know I could probably go on Steam and download some fences. That's never been something that I searched for. I always searched for like, you know, trees and stuff like that. And then various like transit mods. I've downloaded like transit terminals, and then obviously curb networks. Curb networks are really great. Networks of pretty much any kind. You can come across some really cool stuff. Yeah, you know, it just makes it a little more secluded and more of a private space. And so let's go ahead and look at this guy. Perfect. So now we are literally just waiting on our students. And so let's look at this guy. So we did end up reaching level 3 while we were doing that as well. And we are actually making some pretty decent money now. We're not, you know, making a ton of money, but we are making enough to justify maybe expanding this area out one more time before we cut the episode. So this is 8,000 units per week. This is 64. So I think if we jump in here, let's maybe add one of these guys. I don't really like that it's on that main road, but I think we'll maybe go in here, add one right there. You know, maybe we'll add one right there too. It's like right off that road. It is not great. Another thing that we can do is go through and actually upgrade these guys, which we probably will do at some point, but I think just adding these in is probably going to help out for right now. I am going to draw on some fences around them though. All right, so there we go. And so I think it would be smart for us to come in and do a couple more of these plants in here. And I think maybe we'll do a couple crossroads because we really don't, I don't want to give up all this space if we don't have to. And so maybe we'll come up here. There you go. It's a little bit of through access that could end up giving us some issues with traffic. And so maybe we'll get rid of that or something. But I think we'll go like this. There we go. And it's kind of funny. It's better to place these on the same side of the road as the trucks coming out from the units. And so we're going to put them like that. And so what that does is it makes it so that any trucks that are coming off of this road, they can just turn left and then go right. They don't have to cross over or turn around or anything. And then trucks coming this way, they can just turn left and then right without having to do any weird turnarounds or anything like that. And so now we should... Oh, not enough electricity. That's weird. I wonder if those large pumps literally weren't working that whole time. I mean, we should really pump up pretty high if that's the case now. It does look like we're in need of workers, though, so I don't really want to keep expanding this out as we're definitely going to run into some sort of shortage. But I think this looks really good. I like that we did these right here. I like that we put the parking lot in and these awesome little paths. And then we got the software development studio, the research center, which looks like is having water issues. Wow. This is, if there's one thing that probably defines my mistakes, just rookie moves, is forgetting to put in water. This is, a pretty reoccurring thing that I do. It is definitely a habit at this point. And so now what I want to do is just do some light detailing. I'm going to go ahead and copy our little bush pattern all the way around these outer paths. And then I think we're going to do some rocks right here and rocks right there and just kind of clean it up a little bit. And so I will show you guys in just a second. All right, and there we go. I went a little crazier than I was anticipating, but I think that's just how I do it now. It's just kind of intense. So I decided to do these small bushes with the new grasses all the way around, and then I just did some light foliage with these new, I think it's the date palms. But I think they just look really good. I super like the look of them. They have tremendous detail. It's the generic date palm, and just good color. You see all the little leaves. They're just fantastic. But then I did some rocks back here. We haven't really done too many rocks in this series. And if anybody has watched my Zillawood series, this is something that I did quite frequently in that one. I really liked placing down rocks. I think rocks are just really majestic and they look cool. And they can really help to kind of separate some areas. But then I followed the bushes all the way around. I kept this kind of like this. It's more haphazard. It would be more of just an open green space. But then I went ahead and put some of the big California palms over here. And then I decided not to do bushes right off the key, just the tall grass. And then I left this space open in the middle. These would be areas where students would walk through the grass. And so I think it's really good. And we actually got some movement on our little pathway over here now, which I think is just fantastic. So we have bridges here, bridges there, and so if any students are living in here, they can now just walk all the way up there, walk up here, and then when we place in our new school, we're going to be doing some more decorations and stuff, and I think it just looks really good. And so let me know what you guys think of the university upgrades. If you enjoy it, go ahead and hit that like button. I'm really pumped about getting that last building in. I think we are close. We just need to get the students. We're still a little ways away, 400. But we have transportation, so we have trams coming down here. We have the metro going right there, so we have access. We probably just need to maybe put some residential on this side. And so I think that's it for this episode. Go ahead and hit the like button if you enjoyed it. If you're interested in another oil episode, go ahead and choose the video on your screen. And thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.